I've got a good one here for you today. We have the SteelSeries Apex 9 10 keyless mechanical keyboard featuring next generation mechanical form factor, omni-point switches. They're linear switches. It's well renowned. Take a quick look at the back of the box. A 10 keyless form factor, the omni-point optical switches, 2-point adjustable actuation, double shot PBT keycaps, a blown out image of the switch. Let's see, 1 to 1.5 adjustable actuation point, which should be nice because then you can basically adjust where you want your key press to be, how sensitive. 0.2 millisecond response time, debounce, 1 million key presses. Overall looks very good. All right, let's open it up. And welcome to Computer Tech and More. All right, here's everything that comes in the box. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I took a look at the Apex Pro. That came with a wrist rest. This one does not. I'm actually a little disappointed by that, but at its price, it's actually kind of okay. Braided cable feels pretty nice. It's got strain relief on both ends. The quality of the connector appears to be above average. It's all one piece as opposed to being stamped together like you see on cheaper cables, and is very common on USB-As. It's braided nylon. Feels pretty good. Looks very long, which is great for all that cable routing that you may need to do depending on your desk setup. Keyboard comes in this plastic bag to keep it protected. And there it is. This one does not feature a little screen in the corner, which I actually don't mind. I don't care about it. After taking a look at the Pro, it just did not make a difference for me. It's something that I would never personally use, but if you have a use for it, then you know who the keyboard is being marketed towards. Keycaps look pretty good overall. Construction, well, it's got quite a bit of flex, if I'm being honest. This is a mostly plastic construction with a aluminum plate, I believe, in the probably underneath this plastic piece to give it a bit of rigidity. Actually, this top part feels like metal because it's colder than the plastic. I know you can't feel it through there. All right. Oh, there's our keycap puller. Let's go ahead and pull off a keycap. So we'll do the Alt key, push it down, pull it up, and there's the switch. And offhand, I'm not 100% sure if the switches are user replaceable. I think I remember them being, but I don't remember offhand. But if you look closely at it, you can see that it looks like it would be able to be removed. Not that I'm going to try, but it probably would require an optical switch as opposed to a mechanical switch like a Cherry MX Brown or other MX style switches. Okay. I'm moving my mic close by so you can hear what the keycaps sound like. Overall, they sound just fine. I think I mentioned they are linear switches. All right, let's go ahead and, oh, I should talk about the features on the keyboard. We got one USB-C, nothing on this side, nothing and nothing. Push it around. We have low step, a little bit of semi-rubberized, big step, just kind of soft touch plastic. So you're gonna get the best grip with it flat. Second most, maybe like this, least amount like that. So whatever comfort you prefer. All right, now let's go ahead and plug it in, get the lighting all set up, and then we'll continue on with the review and do some gaming. Here we are in the SteelSeries GG software. So it features whatever SteelSeries products you own. So this is the Apex 9 10 keyless keyboard. This might focus a little off. All right. So first and foremost, in the software, you'll get notifications as to if there's new software or updates for your products that improve the features or whatnot. So in here, you've got key bindings, meta bindings, settings, typing mode, gaming mode, and in the descriptor, the mode select impacts current keyboard configuration. You can also manually change the mode in the keyboard preset, SS key or IO. Now that we have that out of the way, how do we change the lighting? Click up here. Click here to change the illumination of your keyboard. We click it and it opens the Prism engine. So, or you can get there directly from the GG software under Engine, Gear, Prism, Apps, Library. You click on Prism and, well, let's get that. And there it is. Let's see if I can fit everything on the screen at once. That's pretty good. All right. I'm sorry for the cursed display. My display is just curved and it's the only screen that I got. So unfortunately, this is where we are. So over here on the left side, we have the different options. So over here, you have active, reactive, idle. You have your effects, so it can be off, custom effects, so single color, color shift, breathe, and then you've got your presets, orange, vapor dreams, and each of these do different types of color effects. Personally, I like static colors, and I like my keys to be kind of color shifted in a particular way. To change the colors, you can select a key individually, or if you hold down Shift, you can select multiple keys at once, and then over here you can choose whatever color you would like. All that is done automatically. Default configuration, configuration 1 over there at the top. One thing that I appear to not see when clicking through this are the being able to specifically adjust the keyboard's actuation point, which is advertised on the box. So I can only assume that it's, quote, two modes on the box are this gaming mode and this typing mode. And it looks like I'm going to be doing the typing test with both of these modes, trying out typing, gaming. So let's get into that first and then we'll take a look at the keyboard. We're going to do the typing test in two modes. First, I have selected typing mode, and I apologize if I'm a little blurry or sound a little muted. I have my mic pointed at the keyboard. We're going to do the test. And ready, set, go. Oops. All right, 99% accurate, 59 words per minute. We're going to do it a second time, this time in gaming mode. Click save. All right, back over here, back to typing tests. The 1 minute test, I do apologize for the length of time. All right, here we go. Wow. All right, I had to restart that. What? I didn't even type that in. Wow, this is much more difficult. What the heck? Wow, that sentences were far worse than any other one. Oh, 51 words per minute. Well, 98% accurate, so that's pretty good. Definitely significantly more sensitive in gaming mode. I had a couple mistypes that I thought I was just resting my finger on the key and it did an input. All right, let's take a look at the keyboard and the lighting and the stuff like that next. How do we compare a keyboard? Well, we compare it against one we already own. First and foremost, let's take a look at the size difference. So right there, you get, about an inch extra by going to a 10 keyless keyboard. Now, this does mean you are sacrificing the number keys. So it's not quite as good for like office work. So Excel spreadsheets, typing and that kind of stuff. But if all you're doing is Word documents most of the time, perfectly fine. Let's now talk about the lighting. I will say that the light seems to shine through these keys a lot better than the drop shift, which is the one I'm comparing against. So it just seems to shine through a little bit better. Differences in color, well, I set it up as close as I could. On the screen, this orange looked far brighter than it does right here. So here kind of looks like a yellow on the shift. I mean, I was able to get it, but I had to red shift it a lot more. The reds are about the same. The differences in like manufacturing between these keycaps. So like the A, I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but it has a little, my focus is off. Apologize. Has a little line through it. It's really hard to see. So like right there and right there. While on this one over here, it's much less pronounced. And I guess that must just because they anticipate more volume of sales than what you get with like a semi-custom board, which is what you get on the drop shift. But this is the kind of lighting, and most of the other like drop keyboards are very similar in the lighting. So if you're kind of looking at doing custom versus purchasing it, there you go. Again, it doesn't have the pass-through, which is a little bit disappointment, but this keyboard is around $119 last time I checked. It doesn't have the little OLED screen, but the scroll wheel by default adjusts volume, and you can press it and it mutes and that kind of stuff. The bottom key, well, I couldn't figure out what the bottom key does, but it features most of the same keys that you get on a full-size keyboard. Insert, home. I would rather it actually have the full names that you'd see on the drop shift, but hey, nothing's perfect. What else about it? So these are linear switches, and they have the two modes just for where you want the actuation point to occur. So whether you want to be faster or slower, it just has the 2 points as opposed to buying individual switches for the keyboard. I believe these are replaceable. Well, I went looking on the packaging and couldn't find anything about being able to take the switches out. But we know we can take off the keycaps because we already did that. I think I mentioned this earlier on in the video. Sorry, I do things out of order. But the nice thing about like a drop shift type keyboard or other custom keyboards is you can choose which switches you want in it. And every manufacturer has different features to it. So whether typing experience or shorter actuations or something like that. I guess the next section, let's go into gaming. All right, here we are in game, and this game is Black Mesa. Oh my, I'm being shot at. I'm gonna die. All right, back into the game. I want to get into some kind of action scene so that I can really feel, it feels pretty good. I'm gonna die, I only have 42 health. Whoops. Whoops. I need a different weapon. Oh, only 20 health. We're gonna die here in a second. Where'd I get shot at from? Oh, from up there. Well, let's run into position then. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 35 health. 35. Oh, I'm gonna die. 11 health. Well, it feels fine. Spacebar sounds pretty good. Maybe a little bit hollow. I'm going to just run through 6 health. And then we'll get into the conclusion. There we go, I died. It's fine. Feels pretty good. No real complaints about it. I don't know what else to say. All right, let's get into the conclusion. So first off, as we close out this review, this keyboard, when I plugged it into my second computer, went back to default lighting. So that leads me to think that it doesn't have a saved onboard memory to be able to just plug it into any computer and it has the exact same lighting every single time. So that means you need to have the GG software installed, your online account, and it'll automatically load it that way. But other than that, you would have to just deal with the default. So that's a little bit disappointing. I don't know if that's true, but again, I plugged into the second computer and it reset itself to the default lighting, so it leads me to believe that. Now, as far as professional review from Ratings, which is a website I use, RTINGS, this keyboard is rated at 9.3 for gaming, Officework 7.6, and programming 7.9. One note before I continue, this does have little magnets down at the front, so you can get a SteelSeries wrist rest to go with it, but it doesn't come with one by default, and I feel like it should for its $119 price. So I'm not sure 100% about that, just kind of a side note there. So this keyboard is rated the next step over the Apex 7 and just below the Pro series. So it's kind of their top tier mainstream line, while their Pro being significantly more expensive but similar style switches. And all the keyboards feature very similar build quality, and actually this one's very, very close in build quality, much closer than the Apex 7 to the Pro series. And just for clarification, the Apex Pro uses Omni Point. This one uses Opti Point switches. So it's just the level of adjustability in it. Both of them are optical switches as opposed to, how should we say, mechanical switches. Meaning it uses a beam of light to determine when the switch is actuated as opposed to a physical actuation. It basically just should reduce latency and improve performance as opposed to a regular mechanical keyboard. Its build quality is rated at 8.5 with PBT keycaps, which is great because it means that these will never fade. But actually there's no but. I can see from the pictures online from Ratings that the switches are removable. I think I mentioned I got confused a little while ago. But you would need to use optical switches in this keyboard, and whether you'd be able to get optical switches from another brand to plug into this, or you'd only be able to buy ones from SteelSeries is basically not known at this point, but I'd say you'd probably be stuck with only buying switches from SteelSeries. So if you don't like their switches, then you should look somewhere else. Ergonomics, well, it has a flat level, so this is with the feet completely flat at an angle of 4 degrees, with the little feet like that. Its angle becomes 7 inches, and with it at maximum incline, it's now at 11 inches. So its ergonomics are adequate. I would say I like the lowest level the best. 7 inches feels okay. Yeah. Backlighting is rated very well. It's at 9.6. It has great per key illumination, but the color mixing is rated at fairly poor. So take that for what you will. Next, we have the typing experience. It's rated at an 8. I'd kind of agree this isn't as great to type on as the Apex 7, and I actually preferred the Pro a little bit better to it. Just something about it is not quite as good. And like the gaming one, I had way too sensitive, and then the regular mode just didn't feel sensitive enough, even though I got pretty similar overall typing scores, but that's also because I hammer away at it. Typing noise, it's rated pretty quiet. Latency, this is where this keyboard really... latency is where it really excels. I think I hit my pause button and stopped my video. Anyways, it's rated at 0.7 milliseconds. For comparison, my drop shift, zoom out, has a latency of 6.8 milliseconds. So right here, this keyboard, you could go pro if that's what you're after. This keyboard will be the most responsive thing that you basically own for your gaming setup. At $119, you get 0.7 milliseconds. The Pro doesn't even get better latency than that. This has a perfect score for latency. There might be some that get a little bit less, but at that time, it doesn't really make a difference. And the software is rated very well. It's a 10. It's a great piece of software. It's easy to use, manipulate the colors and that kind of stuff. So